We project our ego into reality through art. Art is a reference we reflect ourselves upon and communicate with. Therefore, the ego of the object is a translation of the ego of our own functioning. But today's world is full with signatures, and we find ourselves facing our expired heritage. We need to recycle. Before we can successfully recycle the building, we need to recycle our ego. The architect, Howard Rourke, who is the main character in Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead, exemplifies the connection of the ego of the creator and the ego of the creation. And this synergy combined with zeitgeist will ensure the integrity of the building. He portrays that achievement of an individual mind will contribute more to the development of a society than the reproduction of the collective. Invention comes from one man. The imitation of glorifying ornaments is a resistance against progress, and it inhibits the spirit of our time. Looking back to the year 1701, the first king of Prussia has boldly crowned himself. To accommodate such a ceremony, he has expanded a palace with highly decorative portals to serve as a stage for his coronation. The greatness of the portals signified the greatness of the man. But in 1918, the monarchy was overturned, and Karl Liebknecht proclaimed a social republic. He did so from the balcony of portal number 4. The monarchy had to be forgotten. Accordingly, the GDR destroyed his reputation in 1950. Except for the portal, the entire building was removed. Liebknecht's portal now serves as the appearance of the State Council building, the new face of justice. The Palast der Republik had taken the position of the palace, but a reunited Germany doesn't want a socialist reminder in the center of its capital. The new palace will arise, but without a king. Can we neglect the confrontation of the clone portal? And do we value a fake jewel? Copy-paste the Bilbao effect. The reproduction of the unique Guggenheim Museum and the Jewish Museum into schools, housing projects, and shopping malls are proof of how architects think themselves bigger than their work. Their ego surpasses the product, and the architecture becomes redundant. What if architecture were only a representation of its builder? How meaningful is contemporary architecture when it becomes a signature of a mere ego? Would their utopia look like the collection of their masterpieces into one urban plan? The Hall of Supreme Harmony, the center of the Forbidden City, was constructed in 1406, and until today it still remains, although it has been rebuilt 7 times. The quickest reconstruction was around 15 years, and the slowest lasted about 100 years. Our modern worshipping structures are the Olympic temples, where we celebrate our achievements. The last location is a highlight for modern supremacy in Beijing 2008. Although only 1.5 years after completion, the baseball stadium is the one to fall first. A $29 million project. We can only guess how many people were evicted, but Albert Speer Jr. knows. Because underneath the nature of sportsmanship lie the intentions of a superpower. An urban plan was made by his office, which proposed to extend the existing north-south axis from 8 kilometers to 25, which is 10 times the length of his father's north-south axis, proposed in Berlin in 1940. Why recycle? Because we need to. Schools merge, industry globalizes, and services virtualize. Many programs are losing their right to exist. Examining the real estate market for Limburg, you will find an increasing supply of vacant objects. The urge to expand is drying out our city centers. Just considering Sittard and Geleen, these 2 cities alone have over 300 available buildings. Positioned along a line they would reach for 7.5 kilometers. We will need 34,000 square meters of program to fill up these blank spaces. We have to get creative. We start with recycling the superego. Although there are examples of successful reuse of churches in Maastricht, they are incidental. The prediction is that 3 out of 4 churches will have to close. Although the newspaper reports a statement from the church in Roermond that says if one doesn't find an appropriate new function, it's better to turn to demolition. The church disapproves of a flower shop. The apocalypse, Devil's Night. The night before Halloween, empty buildings are set afire throughout Detroit. Because of rapidly declining housing market, property owners unable to sell would use this night as an excuse to burn down their homes to collect insurance money. But there are new protagonists who are highly sensitive in the way they approach architecture, like the Russian Alexander Brodsky. Brodsky is aware that in Moscow you'd have to destroy in order to build. His project always have an ephemeral concept, and he selects his clients carefully. Flug 1 in Vienna was a legendary music and art club, but had to make way for the European Cup last year. Klaus Stadtmann chose a highly used traffic junction to plan Flug 2. The proposal is a situationist redesign which doesn't express anything but the use of a fragmented collection of cultural activities. Recycle the architectural ego. Can we see the potential? Let us reconsider the church, because a church wasn't just his house. It's also the house that used to withhold all creative professions, like the painter, the poet, the sculptor, the musician, and the architect. To quote Nietzsche, if it weren't for the gods, architecture would still be in its cradle. Meaning, if we didn't build for something greater than ourselves, we wouldn't have innovated the profession. We, the next generation, can't start by innovation. If we want to renew something, you must show that you understand what has been done. We can use the expired heritage as an opportunity to learn and to experiment. Because we don't have to destroy it to be better than the past. We don't need to build new temples to confirm our time. We don't have to try to be contemporary. We already are. Thank you.